Something knocked. From 4 billion miles away, deep under a frozen ocean that shouldn't exist, scientists picked up a signal they still can't explain. And the worst part? It knocked back. I'm going to show you everything, but the full truth, what we think is actually down there, that's the last thing I'll tell you. Because once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Hey, quick question before we go. Where are you watching this right now? Drop your city in the comments. I want to see how far this reaches. Now, let's start from the beginning. Most people think Pluto is nothing, a cold, dead rock sitting alone at the edge of the solar system, too small to matter, too far away to care about. We literally voted to kick it out of the Planet Club. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union held a meeting, scientists in a room, a show of hands, and just like that, Pluto was demoted, stripped of its title, exiled. For 76 years, it was the 9th planet. Then one day, it wasn't. But here's what they didn't tell you in school. The same year we demoted Pluto, we launched a spacecraft toward it, a probe called New Horizons. It weighed about as much as a grand piano, and we threw it into space at 50,000 miles per hour and just waited. 9.5 years it flew, no stops, no corrections, just hurtling through the dark. By the time it reached Pluto, the sun behind it had shrunk to the size of a pinhead. No warmth, no light worth mentioning, just an endless black sky in every direction. And we expected to find a dead rock, a frozen, cratered, boring nothing. Scientists genuinely thought the mission might be a disappointment, that after a decade of waiting, we'd get photos of a gray ball and go home. They were so catastrophically wrong. The first image came through, and mission control went completely silent. There was a heart on Pluto. A perfect, white, heart-shaped structure, roughly 1,000 miles across, sitting right there on the surface like it was waiting to be found. The internet lost its mind. People called it adorable, a love letter from the edge of the solar system. But scientists looked at that heart and felt something different, not warmth, something closer to unease. Because that heart is a scar. Something massive hit Pluto billions of years ago and carved out a basin so deep, so wide, it changed the entire planet. And over time, that basin filled up. Not with rock, not with water, with nitrogen. Frozen, toxic, slow-moving nitrogen ice. A glacier the size of Texas and Oklahoma combined, filled with chemicals that would dissolve your lungs before you even had time to realize what was happening. And this glacier is alive. Deep underneath it, there's still residual heat left over from Pluto's formation. That heat rises slowly, like a breath, and it makes the nitrogen at the bottom of the glacier boil, just slightly, just enough. The whole surface churns slowly in giant convection cells like a pot of water on the lowest possible heat setting. This means the surface renews itself constantly. Craters disappear, rocks get pulled under. Anything that lands on that glacier gets swallowed and erased like it was never there. Now look at the edges of that glacier. Mountains, real mountains. Some of them reach 11,000 feet, taller than anything in the Alps. And they're made of water ice, not snow, not slush, solid compressed water ice that, at Pluto's temperatures, is harder than granite, harder than most rock on Earth. And because ice is less dense than the nitrogen it sits in, it floats. These are floating mountain ranges, slowly drifting across a toxic sea in total silence. Now look at the tops of those mountains. Red. They're red. The sun, even though it's tiny and distant, still bathes Pluto in ultraviolet radiation. When that radiation hits the methane gas seeping up from the surface, it triggers a chemical reaction. It creates a substance called tholin, a reddish-brown organic dust, and it snows down, slowly, constantly, coating everything. Red snow falling forever on floating mountains of ice, above a churning glacier of poison. This is Pluto. This is what we threw away. But here's where the story changes completely. Scientists noticed something wrong with that giant heart-shaped glacier. It's heavy, enormously, disproportionately heavy. And basic physics says that kind of mass imbalance should have caused Pluto to slowly tip over, rotating until that weight sat at the equator. Pluto didn't tip. Something was holding it in place, something underground, something heavy enough to perfectly counterbalance an entire glacier 1,000 miles wide. They ran the math over and over, and every single model pointed to the same conclusion. There is a liquid ocean under Pluto's surface. Not ice, not slush, liquid water, probably mixed with ammonia to keep it from freezing, buried under roughly 100 miles of solid ice crust, in total darkness, under enormous pressure. At the edge of the solar system, where the sun is just another star, there is an ocean.
Now I need to tell you about this signal. In 2023, scientists re-examining New Horizons data found something in Pluto's subsurface readings that didn't fit any geological model. Rhythmic pressure variations coming from beneath the ice. Not random, not chaotic the way geological activity usually looks, patterned. Now, to be precise, the current scientific consensus is that this is most likely caused by tidal flexing, the gravitational push and pull between Pluto and its massive moon Charon, slowly squeezing and releasing the ice above the ocean, like a hand squeezing a water balloon. That creates pressure waves, regular ones. That's probably what it is, probably. But here's what keeps researchers up at night. That same process, tidal flexing, liquid water, chemical energy, organic compounds like tholins raining down from above, that is a near-perfect checklist for the conditions where life begins. We found life near hydrothermal vents at the bottom of Earth's oceans. Total darkness, crushing pressure, no sunlight, no photosynthesis. Life just figured it out. Pluto has all of it. The water, the chemicals, the energy source, the darkness, the pressure, everything on that checklist. And we can't look. The ice is too thick. Our technology isn't there yet. Whatever is or isn't in that ocean, it is completely sealed off from us, sitting in the dark, under 100 miles of frozen crust, on a world 4 billion miles away that we only visited once, for a few hours, 9 years after we decided it wasn't even worth calling a planet. As New Horizons made its final pass and began the long drift out of the solar system forever, it turned its camera back one last time. And it caught something. Pluto, backlit by the distant sun, a perfect black circle with a thin, glowing blue ring around it. An atmosphere. Pluto has a blue sky. We stripped it of its name. We called it small. We moved on. And it waited. It grew mountains of floating ice. It bled red snow from above. It hid an ocean beneath 100 miles of silence. And somewhere in that ocean, under all of that, something might be waiting too. Not for us to visit, for us to finally come back and knock. The question is, when we do, what knocks back? If this hit different, share it with someone who still thinks Pluto is just a dead rock. Let's see if they change their mind.